大家好，喂，听得见吗 ？Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Okay. Welcome to tonight's community. Okay, let's start. Wait a minute. Let me share the PPT. PPT. Okay. Okay. First, this is our agenda. First, we'll introduce some Harbor 1.9 feature. Okay. Then Stephen Zhou will update some community things. Third is I will demo some feature. It's about the tag retention and the quota. Next is some sharing from. First is Song Ge from Xinhuan will share their experience on Harbor HA, and then Maximi from OVH in Europe will share some business experience for their large companies. And the last is the free talk. Okay. In the past 2 weeks, Harbor 1.9 coding is almost done, especially the quota per project and the tag retention. The coding is done, and we are testing. Webhook PR is also reviewed, and the code is done now. Okay, and in community can do some tests if you prefer. Steven Zhou,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Let me share. Yeah, I'd like to leverage our meeting to talk about some latest updates from the work group. I think I have mentioned several times in our community meeting. Work group is really a good way to aggregate the efforts of different the members from different organizations. Yes, no matter where you are, if you have the similar interests.
前面那公交站知道吧？过了那十字路口有个公交站，找了。
So, okay, we have some background noise. So if you guys have some similar interests on some topics, you can work together under this work group. So far, we have 3 work group. I think the first one is replication. This is a very it's our first, and in the past 2 releases, the relation work group had delivered several key features, especially support replication from Harbor to other non-Harbor registries. This is it's very important, and the replication work group will continue to deliver more features in the future. And we have 2 new ones. One is scanning. This work group is organized, by an engineer from Anchor, from Acor, and from VMware. This work group is working on to deliver a pluggable scanner framework in next release to let the user select different vulnerability scanner to scan their artifacts. In future, we may introduce more other scanners like some package scanner or license checking or some other complex checking scanner into Harbor based on this new framework. So far, we have achieved a very good progress. There is a proposed PR, I think, in the community repo. It's 98. If you guys want to have a look, you can check that PR. There is something about the pluggable scanner framework. And we also have a new workgroup operator. This is really a very big workgroup. There are 14 members in this workgroup. This workgroup will focus on to deliver a suitable Harbor operator in future. Okay, so and there may be some workgroup on the way, like a P2P or some other ones. So here I want to why the reason why I talk about this workgroup is if you have some other ideas, maybe you can set up a workgroup to encourage other members from different companies to work together with you to deliver features to Harbor. And if you have some, if you are interested in the existing workgroup, you can contact the coordinator to join this workgroup to work together with other guys to deliver the features. Okay, so this is the work group on the Harbor community. And another thing I think is maybe it's only related with the China China members will launch several offline events in different cities of China. The first one will be held in next month, September 10. We'll invite other end users to share their use case of using Harbor, and we'll introduce more information about Harbor, like a roadmap, like some other things related, and all the audience attendees can freely communicate with maintainers to talk about any topics. Okay, so that's the latest updates from our community. I think that's all from my side.
Okay, thanks, Steven. Okay. Sorry. Next should be my demo, but my demo environment is not start up yet. Sorry.
Maybe you can let Song to share his session first, and then come back to your demo.
Okay. Song Ge, are you here? Okay. Could you please demo first? Share first. Can you share your?
Okay. Can you?
Yes, I can see you here.
Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Qiu Li Song from Transweb Technology. This the topic I bring up today is share how to deploy Harbor HA. Firstly, I will introduce few problems we have meted. Certainly, I will introduce the solutions about how to solve the problems. Lastly, we will see a demo. We want to deploy the Harbor HI on Type S with Harbor Helm charts, PostgreSQL charts, Redis HI charts. We found PostgreSQL HI with PostgreSQL charts is very easy. Redis HI on Type S with Redis HI charts very easy. Harbor Core Clear Portal and so on. With is very easy because they are stateless and you can set the replica to solve the problem. 然后Redis registry HI with safe S3 very easily. But we found a few problems when Harbor trying to connect the internal PostgreSQL cluster and Redis cluster. There are two main problems. First one, Harbor not initial Harbor database using internal PostgreSQL. Now replacing to Harbor count waterware with Redis cluster with Sentinel. We have meted two problems. One we deploy Harbor HI. 然后 we try to fix these problems. First, not initialize the Harbor database. We executing init Harbor circle when PostgreSQL started. Luckily, open source PostgreSQL chart support this feature. We put Harbor all the Harbor storage we need. Put .entry point init db folder. When PostgreSQL cluster started, PostgreSQL will read the folder. Will read all the circle in the folder to fix the to initial Harbor initial circle. According this way, Harbor initial Harbor database will be fixed. Certainly, Harbor count waterware with Redis cluster with Sentinel. How to fix the problems? We made Harbor charts as a bridge between Harbor and Redis cluster. You will see the picture. Because Harbor Redis cluster with Sentinel count support where with Redis client. This is the reason we made a Harbor cluster as a bridge. Harbor. This is the old artifactory. I download from Data Harbor. I download the Harbor website. This is new. You can see Harbor cluster. You can see Harbor HI property cluster. This way can fix the certain problems. Harbor count connected with Redis cluster. One more step. Automated thread help to configure values for Harbor Redis PostgreSQL property. one later installation for hardware database trust. This project is data hub address you will see on the behind. 然后然 Redis HA chart Postgres chart Harbor Helm chart we used is open is data lab disk is all here. Lastly, we see a demo. First picture we can see Redis HA. Redis have 3 pods. So HA Postgres have 2 pods. Postgres Central. 然后然 Harbor HA property have 3 pods. Redis HA cluster, Postgres Central cluster, HA property cluster. You can see HA properties service. This picture you can see HA property. You can see Redis. The blue is Redis is the master. The red is slaves. You can we Harbor can according HA property to find Redis master. And this Harbor UI. 然后Harbor 的，然后 we can push Harbor imagine whatever. 然后 my
Okay.
I speak English for the first time. My English is very poor. 然后 I can't control the time. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I think it's good. So I have a question about the solution. So
okay.
What? So the change you did is only about the introduce Postgre HA and Redis HA, right? You
Right.
do not do any other change to the original Harbor Helm?
I can't change anything about the orange Harbor Helm chart.
Okay, so let's summarize that. You use the Postgre HA and Redis HA chart, set up external Postgre and external Redis, right? So when you connect to Harbor, you use external, right? External database, external Redis.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't change anything about the Redis HA Postgres chart. That's all open source. Oh, I change the default values to install. I only change default values. I can't change anything about open source. This open source chart.
Okay, I think for the curious stage, you can speak with Chinese. So for other guys, if you have any question, ask Song. Please go ahead.
Okay, you try.
Okay, if no one has question, we can discuss later.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Next, please, Maxim from OVH in Europe give some share.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, so as you may have read on the Slack, actually OVH is a large global cloud provider. We are based in Europe, and we've been focusing on offering infrastructure, public and private cloud for years, and we've been offering services around containers for a few months now with a managed Kubernetes service. And since about 2 months, we launched a beta product, which is, well, basically a managed Arbor solution. We've got a few hundreds of beta testers, so each of them get a dedicated Arbor. And we now that we've got like this few hundreds user in production, we are hitting some operational and mutualization challenges. So we wanted to share that with you after discussing with some part of the Arbor team this morning. I'm actually gonna share you my screen that you can see up a little sum up of the challenges. Can you see the PowerPoint there?
Yes.
Perfect. So basically, there is 2 types of things we wanted to discuss with the community. The first one, I think, will apply to most of you. It's about improvement to Arbor for everyone. Essentially about making Arbor more operable. For example, we saw that we have some bugs in production. Bugs happens, and it's sometimes very difficult to dig in that bugs because the way that Arbor is architected, it doesn't come with integrated tracing. So we are wondering if some of you are interested in implementing tracing in Arbor. If so, we would be really interesting to have your feedback and to discuss that together. Another challenge that we see is that building Arbor locally on our developer laptops will take a few dozens of minutes, which is not easy again if you want to try some improvement or debug. So we think there is some efforts to do to rebuild Arbor more fastly. And our essential problem, actually, having Arbor at scale, is the way that Arbor manages connections to the PostgreSQL server. So we want to introduce the notion of connection polling. And if you have hit some problems with that, if you use Arbor a lot, you may be interested in that too. The last one of the problems, which is the first one shown on this slide, it's maybe a bit more specific about the fact that we use OpenStack Swift as a backend. We do that because all our public cloud offerings are based on OpenStack, except Kubernetes one and potentially Registry one if we continue with Arbor. And we see that some of the features of Arbor, such as, for example, quota management, etc., were not integrated with Swift backend, so we did a PR for that. There is a second kind of subject that maybe is not interesting to everyone. And these subjects become really important when you use Arbor at scale, and especially if you use dozens or hundreds or like us, thousands of Arbor in a given project. We want to mutualize the components behind Arbor, such as the Redis database, or also maybe have the UI being multi-tenant, etc. So here it's more like an open call. You spoke about the works group before. And if you are in a large company and you want to serve Arbor to multiple teams, or if you, like us, are a cloud provider or a services company providing managed Arbor to your end user customer, we would be really interesting to have a discussion together to see if you hit these challenges, if you maybe started working on some solution to address that, or if not, if you are interested to work on that with us. So to sum up, we've been working with Arbor for a bit more than 2 months now. We've got a few hundred customers, and we are at a point where we see that we can't continue with the technology like it is now. And we are wondering if we are the only one in that specific use case, or if we can work together to improve Arbor for this kind of use case. And that's pretty it for me, in fact. I don't know if there is some questions.
Okay, do anybody have questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Can you talk about your deployment?
Yes, actually, we are using Kubernetes as a backend. So each Arbor component is deployed as a pod in Kubernetes. So as I said, we've got a few hundreds of Arbor deployed. So we've got a few hundreds and a bit more than 1,000 components deployed as pod in a large Kubernetes cluster. And the databases on themselves are outside of the Kubernetes cluster and are managed databases that we provide as a cloud company. So manage Redis and manage Postgre. And we've got one database for a few dozen of Arbor services, which in terms of read, write, etc., is quite good. We've got, of course, customers with less or more intensive usage, but we are used to manage that well. The only problem that we have is, for example, the management of the sessions by Arbor to PostgreSQL, which is basically non-existent today.
And I guess when you were looking for a registry solution, you said you started using this about 2 months ago. Did you look at any other products, or I guess what was it about Harbor that made you?
Yes. Actually, of course, we started thinking about just providing the open source Docker registry as a standalone service. And well, asking our customers, we discovered that there was a lot of values in the functionalities that Arbor integrates, such as Clair integration, such as many more features that you integrate, Notary, etc. We saw some good feedback about enterprise use cases around Arbor, and we target enterprise customers. So we definitely thought it was worth taking the opportunity to test that technology. So now we discover that actually, and it's okay, I mean, the technology has not been built to be multi-tenant by default, but we think we may not be the only one in that use case, and we wanted to share that with you.
Great. Is this mostly in Europe, your deployments?
Currently, the beta is hosted in Europe, exactly in France, but for other services that are more mature at OVH, we've got data centers in Europe, in North America, and also in Sydney and in Singapore.
Okay, great.
So,
Thank you.
Is this a paid service for the customer, or is
it will be once we reach commercial stage, general availability and commercial stage. Currently, it's a free beta. You can test it by connecting to labs.ovh.com. I'm going to write that in the chat window. If you browse this website, you will see a lot of beta services that we are working on at the moment, and one of them is a managed private registry. You can test it for free. You just have to register actually an account in Europe, because currently our beta services are only open to our European customers. But we will provide an enterprise managed private registry within 2020 to customers. And currently our first strategy would be to do it offering a managed Arbor, and this is the one that you can test now.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Next, any other questions? Okay, if no other questions, I will do the next. I will share the Harbor 1.9 feature demo, tag retention and the quota per project. Let me share my screen. Here is my, okay, here. Okay, in the past 2 weeks, we have added a small but important new feature. We have added here we have added the pull time and the push time of the image in our Harbor. So based on this new feature, we also make our tag retention more powerful. Here you can see we add more tag retention rules based on pulled time and pushed time, such as you can retain the most recently pushed image or pulled image, and you can retain the images pulled within the last some days. Okay, here I'll give some demo. First, you can see I have prepared 2 repositories. This one has 7.
Sorry, Ziming. But were you sure you know the relationship with Quota?
Okay, yes, of course. I will also show the quota when here.
Yeah, I think in the last community meeting we have demo separately for the quarter and tag retention. Today's demo will be, those 2 features are related features. So the tag retention, trigger tag retention may influence the quarter.
Yes.
So it's combined scenario.
Okay, I have set the quota for this project with 200 megabits. As you see, quota also has a new feature. If you input such as if there is no, it will show red. If there's less quota, and will show green when the quota is enough. Okay, go on my demo. Here, as you see, I have 7 images in this project. I pushed them at different days, and some I also do the pull. Here is a known issue. If I didn't pull, the date is not correct. UI developer is changing it. Okay. Here, I will add a tag retention rule. I will retain the most recently pushed, for example, 3 image with text, star with label, anything. Okay. Let's do a dry run. And here you can see the seven image will only retain 3 as we set. In the log, you can see the 4 will be deleted. Next, we'll see if I retain the most pulled image, most recent pulled image, such as S4. Here I also do a dry run. You see, 4 will be retained. Here is the detailed result. And if I retain the image within the image pulled within last several days, such as 30 days. So with this, as you can see, with this you can see 5 images will be deleted. And let's see the image again. Only 2 images that I have to pull, other will be deleted. Now I will do a real action. Okay, sorry. Here, just now I just do the dry run. It will not delete the image. Now I will run it. Okay, as you can see, here and in the response tree, the test 1 image is deleted, and only 2 image in test 10 left retained. And also you can see the here the storage left is 61 megabytes now. Okay, my demo is done. Do you have any questions? Okay. If no more questions about this, do anyone have other discussion? Any other question want to discuss? Okay. If no more question, it's done here. Steven, do you have any other things?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.